All right, we are good. We are good to go now, guys. All right, what is going on, everybody? Harley here at EpicTube HD. Hope you guys are having a great start to the UFO release. Um, we are here in Roswell. We're streaming at the convention center right now, and we had to get everything set up and all that fun stuff. I got here a little late. That's my fault. I do apologize, but we're here with Mike Waddell. Give him a big shout out, everybody. What is going on, Mike? How was today in Brooklyn?
It was fun, man. It was like 6 hours of signing cards, which is awesome to do. And I love doing it, but it's you know, it's it's like a process, right? Because it's like an hour to get to Brooklyn and an hour back. But man, like doing it at sneak outs every time I do it, it's so much fun.
And that is great. You're planning on coming here to Roswell then, right?
Yep, bright and early tomorrow. Well, I say bright and early, but um it's gonna be a 7 or 8 hour series of flights, and I get there pretty late. I get there at like 4:30 p.m.
Ooh, yeah, that is definitely, it takes a little bit to get here. I will admit that. I was fortunate I flew into Albuquerque and then we drove here for the last 3 hours. If you guys were following me on Instagram, you saw that I had a little storyline going with our guy Stong. So we're having some fun with that. We're just trying to make it fun because it was a long trip to get here. But man, guys, we have so much is planned this weekend. I can't really show you right now what's going on here, but this is like legit. This is like when they say launch party, just the key word in party is definitely what's happening here. It is set up beautifully. The guys are all here working. There's Andy, there's Fahar, Ted. Everybody's here trying to nail this down, getting it ready. And it's going to be pretty fire. The town is on fire right now. And I think it's going to be a really, really great experience. I know I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow, when everybody starts coming in, I'm sure it's going to be insane. But anyways, Mike, other than sneak outs today, was there anything like what was there any fun or crazy things that stuck in your mind that happened at sneak outs? I did see something about you signing someone's head.
Yeah, so that happens every set. That guy comes back and I sign his head. But there were actually quite a few. So I noticed a few things. Two main things stood out to me, right? A lot of people in costume, and I say a lot of people, it was like 4 or 5 that came in and UFO related costumes, and there were a lot more kids this time, so that's pretty cool.
That's a huge ordeal. That's
Yeah.
very big. Yeah. At least it means that, you're getting closer. I kind of told this story not too long ago, actually, when I was in Dallas. Um, I made these bricks, 100 lot bricks. I made a Pokemon one. I made a Metazoo one. And as I was going around the crowd, I was looking for little kids to give them to. And I'd go up and I'd go, hey, do you want a Pokemon or do you want a Metazoo? And then sometimes the parents would look at me like, what do you mean Metazoo? What is that? And then I kind of thought in my head, I thought of a couple cards that I thought, he might be just a little too young for those particular cards that I know that were in there. So I ended up giving them the Pokemon brick. But no, some of the older kids, like, 10, 11, 12, they were pumped to get them. And I definitely think you can see it coming in more now. You got the Cotter family out there.
Yep.
Their kids are opening up. So, yeah, we're seeing definitely a lot more kids coming in. What was with UFO dropping, and you've been dropping so many hints.
Mhm.
Uh, can you give us any information on the whole space thing now? Can you like divulge like how that whole thing process went down? Who came up with the idea? How did that happen? Because that's just crazy.
So like we were like trying to figure out with wilderness we planted the 20,000 trees, and then we did recycled cardboard, right? And it was kind of a cool
Mhm.
thing. And then we have Smokey coming out with in Target. And it's just like, oh man, for UFO, like what do we do? What do we do that's like um groundbreaking, kind of one-ups wilderness? And I'll tell you what, like we didn't know, like we were like racking our heads trying to figure out what we should do. And it wasn't until like kind of at the last minute. I say last minute, but but it took us about 2 or 3 months of just talking to figure out like what we wanted to do for UFO until finally I was like, let's just send stuff up into space. And you know, I was like, I want to be the first TCG in space. And now I had mentioned that for a while, right? That I wanted to do that.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, but then first TCG into space, I didn't know like what we were going to do with the cards. And then I was like, well, if we make them special and make them serialized, and we can just send them back to the printer and actually put them into the packs, right?
Mhm.
Which is pretty cool. And then I was like, well, what else
Obviously.
can we do? What else can we do? And I was like, oh, what if we made sure that, you know, for every booster box had a little bit of space on it, and we sent up like foil. So it was a process of trying to figure out how to elevate the product. But we kind of had the answer all along, which was like the stuff that we wanted to set up in space. It was just a matter of like figuring out logistically how we could incorporate it into the product.
I mean, that is, like I said, the thinking outside the box, um, along with traditional things, has been absolutely mind blowing to see with a company that's, again, a year old. Technically, I know you're more than a year old. I know you're technically like 3 years old, but the thinking outside the box into a realm of that is it's unbelievable, because I would never fathom that. It's just something you just wouldn't think of, and especially figuring the whole process out, how to get up. And it was so cool that, the one thing about Metazoo people, it feels like half the people here are detectives. So you got like detective zoos out there, and they, like, oh look, there's a balloon company that sends stuff up, and look, there's these rockets that launch. I mean, you had everybody, searching for when is the next rocket going to space and everything. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I actually didn't know that they, companies can do that. And I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. But again, to think like, what can you do to stand out above everybody at all else? Let's go to space.
Well, it's like,
Just
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, and just thinking like, all right, we're the first big TCG that's quote unquote made it in 20 years. How do we like what ground is left unturned, right? And
Yeah.
it turns out there's quite a bit, right? And so it's like, oh geez, there was really never like Pokemon never sent up like trading cards into space. You kidding me? Like they've never like it's like there are those weird things, right? One second.
Let's
And
see
just
here.
give me 1 second.
Holy fan, it's still streaming. That stream's still gonna happen. Already about 20 at.
Yeah, so it's like, and then it's like, oh, has Pokemon or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, have they ever officially put anything into Sotheby's, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
like the NFTs, which I know are a contentious thing, right? Um, is like it's just us breaking ground because we can. Like we're new, we're fresh, we're young. And if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be us. And so I constantly I think to myself, how can we push the envelope, right? And then so Meta Phantom's already said, the fourth wall effects were already there, and that's already kind of like me pushing that boundary from like as the genesis of the game, right? And some of this stuff won't work out, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not going to try.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like, hey, can we be the first CCG to at scale be more inclusive with our language? Like that's a new thing. Especially, but like we're uniquely positioned to do it because we do have identifying character traits integrated into our fourth wall effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not going to be us, then who's it going to be? Someone's eventually going to do it, right? So, it's just one of those things that I try to be innovative, and I have a really great team around me, and a community that's receptive to that innovation. That's kind of the key to all of this. They're like, oh, I wonder what Metazoo is going to do. Like, what are we going to do with Seance? And it's like, that's a good question.
Yeah, you have people asking what's happening for the future, whereas it's not just when do I get the cards when. They're asking, what is Mike doing next?
Right. And that's, I wouldn't say that there's a limit to that, but there's like definitely like how do you one up sending stuff into space, right? So the next the next step is like, all right, not every set, not every product is going to have this, like, it's not going to one up the next thing. As long as we continue to be innovative in some way and kind of have a cool little thing, I think that shows that we care enough to put something like that in the product, right? We don't have to one up ourselves. We just have to show that we care.
Exactly. And, again, it goes back to a lot of these things where especially when you talk about the fourth wall effects, you get a lot of the newer people that come into Discord, they come into these Reddits, they come into Instagram and places. And the first question everyone starts doing is questioning the fourth wall effect and not understanding that this is actually like the Pegasus of the game is this fourth wall effect. And then it's not only that, but it's the fact that people tend to make things bigger than what they are, which we know that happens in a lot of things in life, right? So it's like, you don't think so big. When I talked to Medikai a couple of weeks ago, the one thing I asked him, I said, how do you prepare for your fourth wall? And he shows me this little bag. He goes, oh, my fourth wall stuff's in here. And I'm like, see, that is the perfect example of sometimes you gotta don't let things get so big and out of control. Bring it home. Think simple. Sometimes less is more. And that's always my motto, less is more. And you can make those things happen. And so again, with going into space, how can you move on? You're right. Sometimes it could be less is more. You did that. Everyone's still pumped over. We're going to be pumped over that for a long time. That's going to be a generational thing to talk about. Hey, Metazoo was the first one to ever go to space, And again, when we talk about the traditional older TCGs, the one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about was that people tend to sometimes don't understand how lucky we really are that you're growing so huge and we have so much access to you. Nobody from Pokemon is talking to any of us. Nobody from Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or any of those companies. I'm not slang against them. It's just that's traditionally not something they do. So the fact that we can come to you and not necessarily you per se exactly. Ted's walking in right now, everybody. But it's the whole premise that we have access to you to ask you these questions. You come in and you interact with everybody. What is going on? They can see us.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everybody. We're doing awesome here in Roswell. We got everything set up for tomorrow. Can't wait to see everybody. We've got locations that'll be giving out packs of UFO and stamping passports and all that good stuff. So good to see everybody.
Nice. I'm good. I'm good now. Little technical difficulties here. I forgot that Zoom has a 20 to 30 second delay, so I kept thinking we weren't live.
I was like, we're live. Like,
everybody in the chat.
See, on me it shows a good 20 seconds. We're not, so that's why I was thinking that.
Michael, we'll see you tomorrow. Safe travels.
Thank you, Ted.
So yeah, thank you, Ted. Appreciate it. We'll talk later. And I said I think people tend to really, they should be more thrilled with that ability. But getting into what we're going to be moving on is right. Everybody's already talking about seance. Everybody's talking about war. Everybody's talking about Yoka Island, which I'm a huge Japanese person. I love Asia. I've been over there so many times. I'm really waiting for Yoka Island. That's my big thing. But let's talk about UFO. So the big thing right now is it's the name. Do we have enough? Does anybody actually named, or have we even figured out the cards in UFO yet that would be given the unlucky 13 or the wild 7 or the obnoxious 9 name? Have you seen it yet?
So I know what the cards are clearly, right? But it's just one of those things, where I think the community, that's one of those things where the community needs to find those out, right? And after a while, like, we may or may not verify, but that's part of the meta journey, right? So that's kind of the idea is every set will have something like that. It'll change up, back and forth, but it's just one of those things where it's a special thing, special little subset Easter egg for people to find out.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think there's a lot of really fun names going on, and of course, the funniest part about all that is people have already narrowed down. It's 6. No, it's 12. they're already getting it so close to it. If anybody, I would probably trust Jody from Metazoo HQ the most, because he seems to be the most in tune to what's going on. So I'm kind of looking out to see what he does in terms of what that's going to be. But that is such a huge thing right now in the community. It's finding out what set is going to be, or what set of cards is going to make up this new name. And everybody wants that recognition of getting, like, I was joking when you guys came out with the F5 name. And I was like, yeah, I think it was, I inspired the F5 name. I inspired it. I was only playing on that. I know there was somebody else who had mentioned, I guess, before about refreshing and stuff, but I just thought that was funny. And now you have everybody's like, they're chasing after this, because it is history. You're going to go down in history as being, I'm the one who named this, or who came up with the great name that everybody caught on to. And I'm not saying there's an ego thing to it, but it's kind of a proud thing to it, because the science put into it, the thought put into it, the effort, that's something you actually should be proud of if you can come up with something cool. Like, guys, you don't know, I was messing with Mike. I after the my UFO video I dropped, I was messing with him saying, hey man, I got your perfect tagline for like your commercial or for UFO. And then, I was just messing around and stuff, but it feels good when you come up with that stuff, because it's like lightning in a bottle. And so you only get one chance sometimes at those things. It's a really great thing. So, but in terms of, we've kind of discussed secret rares to a minimal degree. And I know when you were talking with Argos, you guys had talked about some of that stuff. We kind of all saw the glimpse of the blister pack, where there was the two types of Foo Fighters.
Mhm.
Was that real?
Sorry, what do you mean? Just
That somebody showed a different art of the Foo Fighters blister pack. Somebody was trying to say that, like, oh, that might be a secret. That's an alternate era. Was that a real thing, or maybe did somebody just do, they just made it up or something? Is there only one Foo Fighters artwork, or is there
no, there are
multiples?
multiple. Yeah, they're definitely multiple.
Okay. I'm looking at some, I don't know, I'm just trying to look at some of the people that have been asking some of the stuff here. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and start taking some questions from you, everybody. Mainly because Mike and Argos, if you didn't watch the live, go check out Argos's live from 2 nights ago. Argos is an intelligent person. He knows the business side as well as the collector side. He was a huge Metazoo guy. He was a huge Magic player. So Argos, asked a lot of really fantastic questions. And I really don't want to like rehash things that Mike just talked about. It gets kind of, boring, monotonous. So I'm going to go to some of these questions here. And again, I do ask everybody, please be respectful. This is my channel. Yes, Mike is my guest, but Mike was, gracious enough to have come on my show for a second time. And I'm not worried about any other thing. I want to talk about the positivity of Metazoo and what's happening, because we need that right now. I really think what Mike's bringing to the table right now in the current situation has been a more positive thing than anything. And I'm looking forward to rip my packs. Again, I've only ripped the spoiler pack so far, but I'm looking forward tomorrow. I will be ripping packs here tomorrow, by the way, for everybody. I think Ted told me from 1 to 2 Mountain Time, I'll be ripping packs. It'll be all given away to you guys, and we'll be doing it on Sunday. And there's going to be other streamers doing it. So make sure you guys are tuning in this whole weekend, because it is a party. There is a party happening, and they're involving you guys who can't get here. Okay, who can't get here. They're involving you by throwing out a lot of cool stuff. So make sure you guys tune in. There's going to be a lot of cool people streaming. All right, so what do we got here, everybody? Let's see here. We have Ted's Basement says, Mike, would you take a private trip to space if you had the opportunity?
So maybe in like 20 years, when there's a lot of, like, obviously the work that's going into private space flight is amazing, right? I'm just not like 100% sure I'd want to spend that money, and B, take the risk associated with it when we're like still just getting started. But yeah, I love the idea of space travel, and I do hope in my lifetime it becomes a more casual thing, at least out to the the moon, Mars, whatever. I think we have quite a few decades ahead of us where that might be a possibility.
Yeah, I definitely would, I had 20 plus years in the aviation industry. I would personally weigh myself, but and I've had the opportunity to go on they call it a zero G flight.
Yeah.
And basically it's
Vomit
when the
rocket?
plane, yeah.
Vomit
So it's
comet?
basically, yeah, I think, I can't remember the name of it. It might've been before that. It was like really early on, I think before they really market it. And it's basically, if you guys don't know, zero G, what they do is you go up and the plane literally goes like vertical, comes down vertical, and it just does that. And you literally get zero G gravity. And it's actually very safe. It's not dangerous at all, as many people may think it is. It's not. It's actually very safe. But going into space on the Virgin Atlantic or Elon or whatever, when you start breaking the atmosphere and that heat starts hitting, I get a little wary of that in a thought when I think about that. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have here? Guys, we got 68 people in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Again, let me just say, I greatly apologize for the technical. This is my fault. I got here really late and I was behind in everything. That's my bad. Okay, him 1 second. Gotcha. All right, so guys, this is gonna be a quick live because they wrap up at 5 o'clock here. The building closes at 5. So let's get into the questions here pretty quick. Mike, do you think magic? Mike, do you believe in magic for real?
For reals? Well, first of all, obviously magic is real and it's like everywhere, right? But my background is like very based in physics and math, and I certainly think that there are things that we haven't explained yet. Would you call that magic though? So it's like, if you can harness lightning, right? That's pretty magical. But I always, and I've thought about this quite a bit, but I always thought of like magic as being something that comes from yourself, like especially in like a fantasy world, or in fantasy worlds, it's usually self-generated, not necessarily harnessing the environment around you. So in that sense, like, are humans capable of doing things that would be considered magical, like with energy projection and stuff like that? All signs point to no, but I love keeping an open mind.
I agree. I definitely think so. I'm a personal big believer in karma. I think things come back to you. You do good things, you things will come back naturally. Magic is what you make of it. Magic can be a lot for many people. Magic can be as simple as, eating every day. It just depends on how your viewpoint is,
Sure.
I mean, literally just on my way here, like I said, we were late coming here and we stopped off to get some food. My son was hungry and, we stopped where we stopped off at. It was a lot of homeless people. And I'm sitting thinking like, man, we're sitting here going to this great thing. We're doing all this fun stuff. And, we literally bought a Little Caesars pizza and gave it to the group that was right there in front of Little Caesars. And I was just thinking like, because I'm not gonna tell you, but we had a tough time this morning. Things don't always go your way. But I still believe no matter how sometimes negative things can be, if you still believe, you still stay, you try to be more positive, which is something I'm trying to do in my life now. Magic can be as real as you want it to be. Just remember that, everybody. Let's see here. It seems that some of the artists for Metazoo were involved with Pokemon in the 90s. I'm not aware of that.
I don't think any of our artists are old enough for that. I think the oldest artist that we have is like 33, and that's Chris. But we definitely took inspiration from Ken Sugimori's style. But really, people see it as Ken Sugimori style, but really it was the style of the time, which was using traditional mediums. So like actual pen to paper. And you saw it all across Nintendo, but then also a lot of the different video gaming community and concept arts and advertisement. So it's I love that stuff. All of our art is traditional with very few exceptions. The card art is certainly always traditional. But it's like, I don't know, I think there's a certain magic to doing that stuff, and like there's perfection in that imperfection.
Most definitely. And if you didn't watch it, go to Metazoo's YouTube page. They just dropped their San Diego Comic-Con video. I watched it coming here. Well, I didn't watch it. I listened, guys. Remember, I didn't drive while watching. Just remember that, okay? Just so I don't want anyone to have any problems. Because I was going to post on there. I was like, wait, I'm driving. I don't want anyone. So my son was listening to watching it. But Isaac is so young, guys. He probably I doubt he was even born when Pokemon first came out.
No, he certainly wasn't. No, I think he's like 20.
Yeah, he looks like he's 15. But art wise, he's got the skill of a 40, 50, 60-year-old master. I mean, is crazy skill artist. And again, guys, go check out Metazoo's YouTube page. They put the video up where they get to talk to the artist. So you'll get to hear from Afton, you get to hear from Jet, Poncho. So make sure you go check it out and you get to actually see the artist. And if you've never seen him at a con, this is a great way to meet them. So make sure you guys check out that video on Metazoo YouTube page, everybody. Hey, Mike, when can we expect the release of the UFO binders?
Probably within the next 2 weeks, I want to say.
Okay, it's about 2 weeks. And listen, when they give us time frames, everyone, you gotta add a little bit of time. And I know everybody's really excited for the Kickstarter cards to come, and they're a little bit behind schedule. I know because you had mentioned they were just being sent to you. So sometimes we're in a weird world right now, everybody, where transportation quite isn't what I get used to be. So just remember that it's all coming, guys. It's all coming, man. It's coming huge. It's coming fast, and it's coming big. So just be ready for it.
And I would say, like, with think about every product that Metazoo's released, we always deliver, right? Like, yes, it's a Kickstarter. Yes, some of the Kickstarter games are not delivering, but like this is like product number 63, and we're like on product like 149 right now, right? It's like we will deliver. Yeah. It's gonna be great. The first 5,000 decks were sent to us, I think 2 days ago. And then like every day we're getting more and more of the decks, and we got to kit them, right? We got to put them all together. So yeah, like very, very soon, these things are going to be, they're going to be going out, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's we're looking for. I did not get into Kickstarter. I wasn't able to get into it. So I'm hoping one of those partner stores that was said might get some. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can get my hands on one. I'm a big Vegas man. I used to go to Vegas a little too much back in the day. I like the blackjacks. But yeah, I used to, the funniest thing was when I used to fly to JFK, I literally used to get on the plane with like LL Cool J and going out to Vegas. He'd go out to Vegas at least twice a month. He would be on the red eye out of JFK and be going, and I'd hop right on that plane because I was off the next day. And I'd literally just go there and I'd be there. And I got to hang out with him one time, not like really like hang with him, but it was cool to be able to go there and hang with him a little, like as a regular person with him and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I was back in the day, man, in the early 2000s when things were fun and things were crazy. But yeah, so I would definitely like to get my hands on one of those blackjack. I mean, one of those KS ones. Someone's asking about the Ouija boards and Metazoo tarot themed cards for seance.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a tarot themed set for, and I'm like literally looking at the art right now for the eBay exclusive for seance. So it's that's gonna be a lot of fun. And then the Ouija board. So Ouija board is actually a trademark name and product by Hasbro. That being said, there are like dozens of patents for a similar device, which is a device used to speak with the dead, and in like a board type format. Ouija board just happened to win that battle from a toy perspective, right? So we are actually going to come up with our own, and we're going to put it on the seance booster boxes so that you can actually unfold the booster boxes and use it as a Metazoo version of a Ouija board.
Right. Nice. I know that was a very touchy topic with Ouija and seance, which is, for those that don't know, the original set name was going to be Ouija, but had to be changed because, again, it was Hasbro, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I saw a few people asking about that they weren't aware of that. So I thought maybe for those that might be new in here, just know that it was originally gonna be that, but you gotta roll with the punches, you gotta change it. I think Seance is a great name, actually. Fits very well with, I think, with the whole Metazoo brand, the whole Metazoo IP thing that they're doing. Someone's saying, hey, let's get a Dante's Inferno mini set. Could be interesting. Don't know how big that could be, but probably, little, like maybe 4 or 5 hollow card type of thing or something. This is what we got here, guys.
Every level of hell for sure.
This is what we got over here. Oh, I forgot to bring Squonk. Squonk was supposed to come here for the live, but again, I was running like a chicken with my head cut off. I apologize. That's my bad. Let's see here. What was Mike's favorite thing that happened at the event? So I guess you're talking about San Diego Comic-Con. So what was the most thing that stayed in your brain?
Man, it was the fact that, so those tickets sold out like 3 years ago. So we didn't have the typical like Metazoo crew representing, right? And so I was like, for that first day, like it was a lot of just talking to people, getting the word out. It was like very like almost like one of those old conventions that we went to where we were like, we couldn't give away these packs, right? But by day 2, word had spread, and even though it was like 90, I would say 90 to 95% of the people were new to Metazoo, we still had the longest lines. We had like 1,000 people in line every day, to the point where security was like freaking out again. And they were all new to Metazoo. Incredible. I mean, it's really just incredible. And that goes to show you, right, that Metazoo as a concept, right, as an intellectual property, right, the idea of cryptids, the idea of what we're doing, if you put it into a group of people who've never heard of it before, they're going to fall in love with it, right? You without the hype, without the context and all that kind of stuff, it's such a evergreen concept that we all of a sudden made major fans out of everyone that was there.
And I would definitely also add that, how's that old saying go? You give away something free, everyone's coming. But that's the door. That's leaving the door open.
Well, a lot of people were giving away something for free, but not everyone had 1,000 people waiting in line.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, for sure. Well, like you said, once people see those lines and they go, "What's going on over there?" Exactly. I mean, the first thing you do is you want to go, and then you get caught up into the whole. It's, again, guys, positivity. All I saw in the videos, I literally was watching LPA for the 2 days. All you could hear and see was positivity, and people get drawn to that stuff. So just remember that. I think that's a great thing, though. 3 years out, it was sold out, and people were somehow getting their way in there, paying money for very expensive tickets. It's pretty crazy. I'm gonna ask a question.
Sure.
Now, I've received a few DMs from people that I know are very hardcore Metazoo people. They have their personal opinions and all that fun stuff. Some people apparently, and I know, and I don't think everyone understands. It's not always you. I don't people understand. I don't think they understand that there's other people involved. But when someone does get banned from Discord, we're only talking Discord people. You're not banned from Metazoo. You can go buy Metazoo if you want. If you love the game, you love the art, nobody's preventing you from buying that. But if you do get banned from the Discord, they're just asking, and I did think you touched on this on Argos's live, but they're asking for a better, I guess, more thorough answer to it, maybe, I guess. But they're asking, is there a way for those people to get back in if they did get banned? Now, I don't know the significance of any of that. I just know I've had people DMing me saying, hey, I can't see Metazoo anymore, things like that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have anything to do with that stuff. Mm-hmm. But can you maybe touch upon that? Because there's, I guess it's I'm seeing it growing a little bit. And I think if they know that they can maybe find a way to get back or whatever the case may be, or if there's an option that might be good. But I do want to reference though, everybody, you don't have stuff like this happening in Pokemon. You don't have it in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have that. You still get to collect what you want. Don't worry about Discord if you can't participate in Discord. That's if you did something that was not, they don't approve. Just remember, it's a company page. My company that I worked for 25 years, I got called into the office for saying something on there that I thought was funny because I try to be funny. That's it's part of my thing, right? And I got called in the office. It happens, guys. You have to remember it's a company page. So just be respectful for things that you're asking, saying on there. But it goes to saying, Mike, is there a way for these people? I guess I'm trying to do this I'm trying to navigate this.
No, I mean,
it's a touchy subject. I understand.
It's great. It's a great subject. Obviously, like the Discord's meant to be a place where it's supposed to be family friendly, and it's meant to be a place where you talk about Metazoo, right? There are plenty of like other Discords and stuff if you want to go and want to, give non-constructive or unconstructive feedback, right? If you just want to crap on a product, like there are like, that's okay, do it, but you can't do it in the main server, right? And if you feel like you have been banned or removed and it's not justified, or if you'd like to appeal, we do have an appeal process. All you got to do is you got to reach out to one of the mods or email support@metazoogames.com, and they'll put you through the appeal process. But there are a few instances where either it be racism or just general bigotry, sexism, what have you, harassment, that those people are on a very, very short list of not being able to come back in, right? We also have people who
understandable,
who scam or who try and peddle fake cards, that kind of stuff, and those people are on that short list too. But if it's just something that you're having a bad day and the moderator was just like observing the rules, we unban people like that all the time.
Yeah, and I think I've seen one or two people mention that they had been temporarily suspended or something like that, and they got back in. But exactly. I completely agree. I think people need to have a bit more. Again, the internet is the wild, wild west, but that doesn't mean that it has to be your wild, wild west on your platform, in your group. And again, you guys, I know people don't like the answer. I'm sure there are people who do not. They never will. And I kind of used to be someone like that. I'm not going to lie, guys. I used to be a little bit like that myself. But like I said, as I'm getting older, I'm learning more things and I'm understanding things now. Again, this is theirs, and they're inviting us in, which is something that most companies
don't. Metazoo said everyone Supernova 6.
Metazoo was Supernova 6. That was interesting.
So, no, but listen, it's not even that, right? That makes it sound like it's some sort of protective thing. Very simple, right? We're a company. If you're going to be in the chat, it's family friendly. Try and be respectful. That's it. It's not like this is our company, it's our community, and we can. It's not that. It's very simple.
Yeah, that's not what I meant by that either. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it in that sense. But yeah,
it's very simple.
Yeah.
If you're
it is.
It's for family. It's family friendly. Don't come in there cursing. Don't come in there being spouting racism. And in the event that you're having a bad day and you're complaining about something, usually like an order inquiry, like we'll handle you. That's fine. But if you have been removed because a moderator has been observing that rule, just reach out to support@metazoogames.com. We have an appeal process.
And there you go, guys. So I hope that answers a lot of your guys, some of your guys' questions out there that have been having this issue. Because I've had people been messaging me actually, which is weird because I'm not a Metazoo employee, but because I associate myself with Metazoo and the brand so much now with doing the live streams and all that stuff, I guess people think that I do, but again, I'm just, from my viewpoint, again, like Mike just said, just be positive, guys. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. I mean, again, there's nothing, you're not going to gain anything. I learned it this morning, getting my rental car. It doesn't do you any good whatsoever to go to that side. It just doesn't. And because I didn't, everything ended up working out smooth. Again, I got here late and I apologize to everybody. I'm sorry. He says he's sorry too. I'm sorry. And again, I got to wrap this up, everybody, but this is typically I do have great streams, everybody. I'm not always a dumpster fire. I'm getting myself together. Again, I did get here with really just a few minutes before we had to go live. But that's my fault. My fault. I take responsibility for that.
That's fine.
But I greatly appreciate Mike coming on the show again. I love having him on. I love having a lot of the community members on. I know a lot of the community have been asking me to do more with people. So I am investing more technology into having guests on. So it's not a dumpster fire. But again, keep tuning in, everybody. We will be opening packs tomorrow here from Roswell and Sunday, and they're going to be all free giveaway. It's going to be all done tomorrow. And I'm not the only one. There's going to be several other people here streaming. It's going to be a huge party. We're all celebrating UFO, everybody. Happy to be a part of what's happening right now. This is a great time. Again, for me, this goes back to 99 2000 and how I kind of missed out a bit of it by not taking it as serious as I would like to have done. And now I'm getting a second chance with a card game, an art, and it's just an overall fabulous company that I'm having a great time and a lot of enjoyment being a part of. And again, I thank Metazoo for allowing me to be here and be a part of this as well. Thank you, Mike. Thank you to Ted and all the staff, Andy. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm so pumped.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. So
I'll see you there tomorrow, and maybe we can do something in person live there as well. So
and we will have that ready.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Everybody, thank you again. Thank you to all my moderators for all your support today. Pogo Dad, Epic Mom, TCG World, Scott, SJC Collectibles, Matthew Johnson, Ted's Basement. If I need to add more moderators, Gilbert at Go Cards and stuff, again, I will definitely add more moderators to help out. But I appreciate all the love and support. I appreciate you dealing with me today, your patience. And that's going to do it, everybody, here from EpicTube HD. I am Harley. Again, not always a dumpster fire, but we'll see you tomorrow live from the Roswell launch party. Have a good one, everyone.
Have a good one,
Peace
everyone.
out. Hope you guys enjoy it, man. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a good day, man.